Then to the right of Keir Starmer was David Lammy. What is he all about? I absolutely dislike that man immensely just because of his arrogance.
Jim Davidson's bold live moment leaves David Lammy lost for words. You're not going to believe what just happened. Because during a live political segment, one that was supposed to be routine things took a completely unexpected turn. Comedian and commentator Jim Davidson went off script, challenging Labour MP David Lammy in a way that left even the host stunned. For a few long seconds, the studio went quiet. Lammy looked frozen, not angry, not defensive, just speechless. This wasn't your typical polite TV debate. This was raw, unfiltered, and emotional, the kind of moment that reminds everyone why live television is still unpredictable. It all started when Jim Davidson was invited onto a panel to discuss the growing frustration among British citizens over the political climate, from immigration concerns to the feeling that politicians are disconnected from everyday struggles. Now, Davidson, known for his outspoken views and sharp humor, didn't hold back. But no one expected what came next. As the discussion turned to leadership accountability, Davidson turned directly toward Lammy and said, "You politicians talk about equality, fairness, and unity, but the people outside Westminster don't feel any of that. They feel forgotten. They feel spoken at, not spoken to." You could feel the tension shift instantly. Lammy, who's usually quick on his feet and confident in his responses, seemed momentarily caught off guard. And for a moment, he didn't say a word. The host tried to steer the conversation elsewhere, but Davidson wasn't done. He leaned forward, his tone serious but not aggressive, and continued. "I'm not here to be polite, David. I'm here to say what millions are thinking. You're brilliant at speeches, mate, but people are tired of speeches. They want action." That was the moment social media lit up. Clips of the exchange started circulating within minutes. The comment sections exploded with divided opinions, some praising Davidson for saying what they felt, others accusing him of being too blunt. On X, formerly Twitter, one viewer wrote, "Finally, someone on TV actually spoke like a normal person, not a politician." Another replied, "David Lammy didn't deserve that, but wow, you could tell it hit him." It was one of those rare moments where entertainment and politics collided and everyone had something to say about it. But here's the thing, this wasn't just about two public figures having a disagreement. It reflected something much bigger brewing beneath the surface of British politics. For years, people have accused politicians of being out of touch with real issues: the cost of living, job insecurity, and the rising sense of frustration among working-class voters. And when a well-known figure like Jim Davidson puts that into words live, unfiltered, and unapologetic, it strikes a chord. Even political commentators weighed in. One columnist from The Express wrote, "Davidson might not be a politician, but he captured what many voters feel, that politics has become a performance, and authenticity is in short supply." A political insider told GB News. Lammy looked shocked because he's not used to that level of emotional pushback on live TV. Most guests don't go there. Davidson did. Now, to be fair, David Lammy did eventually respond. After a brief pause, he collected himself and said, "Jim, I respect your passion, but politics isn't just about shouting the loudest. It's about making real change, and that takes time, discipline, and policy, not performance." The audience applauded, and the tension eased slightly. But by then, the clip had already gone viral. Davidson smiled, leaned back, and quipped, "That's the difference, David. I don't do policy. I do honesty." That line alone was shared across countless platforms within hours. Behind the scenes, sources say the exchange left producers scrambling to manage the reactions. Some networks reportedly considered cutting the replay segment short, while others leaned in, using the moment as a highlight reel for online promotion. And for Davidson, it was another headline-grabbing moment in a career that's always courted controversy, but this time there was something different. This wasn't a comedy sketch. It wasn't a joke. It was a frustrated citizen speaking directly to a politician, live, uncensored, and from the heart. Public reaction since then has been split down the middle. Supporters of Lammy argue that Davidson oversimplified complex issues, reducing years of political work to emotional soundbites. One viewer wrote, "It's easy to criticize politicians. It's much harder to fix problems from the inside." Lammy showed restraint. But Davidson's defenders see it another way. They argue that his comments represent the voice of a nation that feels unheard. He said what everyone at the pub says, but no one on TV dares to, one fan posted on Facebook. The clip has now reached millions of views across TikTok, YouTube, and X with hashtags like hashtag David Lammy, hashtag Jim Davidson Live, and hashtag UK politics trending. And now the big question: what happens next? Will this spark a larger debate about authenticity in British politics? Will more public figures start confronting politicians head-on, instead of sticking to polite talking points? Because one thing's clear: the British public is watching closely. They're tired of careful speeches, endless promises, and empty slogans. They want honesty. Raw, uncomfortable honesty. And ironically, that's what Jim Davidson just delivered, even if it came wrapped in controversy. A political analyst on Talk TV summed it up perfectly. What you saw wasn't a rant, it was a reality check. Whether you agree with Davidson or not, he exposed a truth about modern politics. People crave real conversation, not rehearsed lines. In a media world where everything feels staged and filtered, one unplanned moment of confrontation broke through the noise. And David Lammy, usually the one commanding the debate, found himself, for once, silent. Maybe that's the story here. Not who won or lost the argument, but what that silence revealed. Because sometimes, silence says more than words ever could. And the question that remains is simple: if one candid moment can shake the political stage this much, what happens when more people start speaking out?